Hey everyone, this is Chef Steve from Steve Cooks Stuff. Welcome back to another episode of the show. Today we've got some exciting dishes we're going to be making up for you, starting with a Parmesan Crusted bone-in chicken thigh over a potato and onion medley that's going to go in the oven. While that's going, I'm going to whip up some of my Brussels sprout cheese crisps that are also going to go in the oven. It's all going to come out together at the end of the show. You're going to love it. Stick around. I'm excited to share these dishes with you. To start, I've already got everything kind of prepped and cut up for you here. I've got my pan on kind of a medium heat. This is just a Lodge cast iron skillet. I want to add just a little bit of olive oil to get that starting to heat up a little bit. And here I've got one Idaho potato and then a half of a sweet potato. They're peeled and they are just kind of cut up into little half-inch pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and add those to my pan. Now, most of this cook is going to happen in the oven. So there's a real low simmer happening right now. I'm not too worried about it because in a minute it's going to go into the oven. It's going to do its real thing. I'm just going to kind of get my base started here. So I'm going to add those potatoes. Then I'm going to add my yellow onion, about a half a yellow onion diced up there. Get that going there. A little bit of garlic, fresh garlic, minced up. We'll put some of that in there, maybe a tablespoon or so. And then we want to get our chicken going. So I've got 4 bone-in, skin-on chicken thighs. They've been washed, dried, ready to go. And this is a grated, like a fine grated Parmesan cheese. So this is essentially going to serve as our breading. Instead of breadcrumbs, we're going with the cheese crust today. So I've got that laid out there. I've got this Kinder's, it's called their blend. It has salt, pepper, and a little bit more garlic minced in there. So I always just like to kind of sprinkle some of that in there like that. I'm also going to go ahead today and just use some of their blackened seasoning. I like using this. It's not super hot, but it gives it that nice kind of smoky blackened flavor to your dishes. Definitely goes well with the Parmesan cheese and everything else we got going. So just kind of mix that around a little bit like that. And in this bowl, I've got 1 egg and about 2 tablespoons of a spicy Dijon mustard, a little bit of lemon and a little bit of water. And I just kind of whisk that up so that it has, just a nice even consistency to it. So now I'm ready to go. I'm going to give this one more little stir, get this ready. And all I'm going to do now is go with 1 chicken thigh into the dredge, really quick, both sides, and then into the into this parm blend. You just want to get a nice little layer of the mix right there on top, and then just lay it right there on top of those potatoes. Keeping this hand dry, I'm going back in with my left hand into the dredge. This is just really, between the mustard and the lemon and the egg for the binding, this is just a great base to start this dish with. Second one in, third one into the dredge, into the Parmesan. I've been making this for quite a few years now, actually. Sometimes, again, I like to say that with my dishes, there's kind of a base technique to everything that I do. This being one of them, and what I've chosen to prepare for you today is this mix of a couple kind of potatoes and some onions, but certainly over the years I've put all kinds of other stuff in there. What I'm going to do is just show you how to make this particular dish, show you how it comes out at the end, tell you how delicious it is, so that you can turn around and do it for yourself. I'm going to add my 4th chicken thigh right on top, and believe it or not, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the oven. The oven is already heated at 400 degrees. It's going to go in there for about 30 to 40 minutes. I'm going to check it at 30 just to make sure that Parmesan's not getting too browned or burnt. If it is, I'll put a piece of foil over it. But in the meantime, we're going to let that go to work. I'll throw it in the oven. I'll be right back to show you how to do these Brussels sprouts. All right, welcome back. We've got our Parmesan crusted chicken in the oven, and now it's time to get started on our Brussels sprout cheese crisps. Now this is something that I've been making for a little while. I love it because it's fast, it's easy, it's definitely delicious, and it also, like a lot of things recipes I talk about, you can mix up flavor profiles. But the one I'm going to go with today is going to be using some of this lemon garlic butter seasoning. And here we go. So I've chopped up most of the Brussels sprouts already. For this dish, all you want to do is take, a whole Brussels sprout once you've washed it, and then just above the bottom of the stem, cut it. You'll usually lose a couple leaves off it, and then just turn it and cut it lengthwise right down the middle, and drop it into your bowl there. So out of each Brussels sprout, you're going to end up with 2 of these cheese crisps. So little Brussels sprout goes a long way in this type of dish, and it's definitely a crowd pleaser. So right there, I've got 10 Brussels sprouts cut in half, so I'll have 20 bites. Next thing I want to do is a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of my Kinder's The Blend, which is sea salt, pepper, and garlic, and then this lemon butter garlic seasoning from Kinder's as well. It just goes really well with this, with the Brussels sprouts and the cheese and everything. So just kind of lightly toss that, lightly coat it, and those are pretty much ready to go. So I'll move that to the front there. I'll move my pan up here so we can see well. And all you need to do, this here is a blend of cheddar jack, and a few different cheeses. Use whatever kind you want. A lot of people do this with just a straight Parmesan. I do that sometimes, but I've also found that, more cheese, right? Just mix it up. So we're just gonna make some little piles on the tray here. Let's spread that around. And what's gonna happen is when we put these Brussels sprouts on top, the cheese is gonna melt down and kind of almost grab it and turn it into just like a cheesy potato chip, if you will. So when you might not think that you're putting too much cheese down, but it really doesn't take much. So I'm just gonna kind of scatter that around. And now all I wanna do is just come back to my Brussels sprouts and just take them and put them on the flat side down, right into the cheese. And you don't have to, there's not really a way to press it down, but I just kind of give it a little nudge when I put it down there. Just set them on, it's really quick. These are gonna go into the oven, and as I said, when the cheese grabs onto them, and I pull these things out in a little bit, you're gonna see it's beautiful. Some people call them, someone at a party that I was catering recently called it a Brussels sprout fried egg. When I pull them out in a little bit, we'll take a look at it together and see if you agree. One thing I do know is that they're delicious, and they are a regular request at the events and parties that I've been catering. All right, there's the last one. We'll put that in there, and that's it. So I'm gonna throw these in the oven at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. I'll take a look at them. By then I'll see where the cheese is, but that's it. I'll see you back in a few minutes. All right, welcome back. We've got everything out of the oven. It's time for me to show you what we did, plate it up, and talk about it as we wrap on out of here. First of all, right out of the oven, I think I mentioned earlier, someone called them like a Brussels sprout fried egg. So this is what they are. As I mentioned, the Brussels sprout just kind of sinks in, the cheese wraps around it, and it just becomes a cheese crisp, right? And so these are fantastic at parties, for a game, for a Saturday at 11 a.m. just because they're that delicious. They're good for whenever. Oh, bonus one, look at that, there's 2. Someone's getting 2, there we go. And so you can see they just kind of break up right off of the parchment paper here. Take my spoons, scoop it underneath, it's like this. And there it is. These are Brussels sprout cheese crisps. Once I get them on my plate, what I like to do to kind of finish them off is take some of my balsamic reduction, and this just gives it that last little bit of tang. This has been reduced on the stove. About a half a cup, reduces all the way down to a few tablespoons. You just put it on real low and just let it go. And see, it just comes out like a drizzle, just like that. And you can just kind of sprinkle that all around. So you get little bits of balsamic reduction throughout your various bites. It just adds to something. I started doing it not long ago, and it's the only way I eat them now. So there it is. Those are my Brussels sprout cheese crisps. I'm gonna set that over the side, move this pan over here for a moment. Now, right out of the oven, we also have our Parmesan crusted chicken thighs, skin on chicken thighs with a potato and onion medley underneath. These went in the oven at 400 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes. I didn't end up having to cover them with foil. This is just as is. There's no turning, they just sit there. As the chicken thighs cook, the juices release from the chicken thighs down into the potatoes and just get everything all perfectly cooked in there. So what I want to do is, I like doing this demonstration too. So remember, there's no breadcrumbs, it's just all Parmesan cheese. I don't know if you can hear that. Get my microphone close. But you know, there's no need to have breadcrumbs on a dish like this. If you just want cheese, no need to add anything else. So what we can do is just move these to the side, take our spoon, and just kind of stir these around a little bit, because as I said, the chicken juices cooked down into the potatoes. And so if you want to talk about a flavor bomb, this is it right here. So we're just going to scoop some of these potatoes out like that. And we'll reach over, grab one of our chicken thighs, set it right there on top. And there you have it. Now, just to finish things off, we'll take a little bit of lemon, give it one more little hit, and then a little bit more of the fresh Parmesan cheese right on top. And that lemon juice will help it kind of stick on there. Just give it like that. So now we're talking about a good plate. And then for a last little dose of color, just a little flat leaf parsley. There it is. Parmesan crusted chicken thighs over a potato medley and Brussels sprout cheese crisps. I hope you enjoyed watching today. I really enjoyed cooking these dishes for you. I hope you're inspired. I hope you want to go out and try them. You can always check out my website, www.stevecookstuff.com. And I've got a cookbook coming up real soon here. So stay tuned for that as well. Keep cooking, keep inspiring, and keep enjoying life. Thanks again.